I'm looking at the banking system and the loan scheme. Perhaps it's actually looking at micro lendings. First, I search for micro lendings and I look for macroeconomics and I'll see micro foundation. Um, so, what are we looking at? Is actually demand and supply. There's always a demand and supply curve in micro and macroeconomics in terms of both theories are based on the same kind of foundation, which is the economics model. So, what are we looking at now is I need to find this supply and demand system of provision, actually, how actually would work in this macroeconomics model or through without thinking too deeply into the theories of microeconomics, because for that instance, microeconomics would be more segregated into um, the public sector, and without investments, a large amount of investments return or the ROI, then I would actually be unable to formalize strategic financial records of revenues and returns, and so that therefore the private sector model would be actually not be networked by accumulations of wealth. It would be actually thinking the content itself. How could I actually accumulate content-based economics model? Now, for example, if I actually move the model back into the amount of investment I put in and find the revenue in the returns of investment in the content-driven economy, then the supply and demand curve has to go back into looking at the curve itself. So on Y, on X is actually quantity. The quantity is on the x-axis and the price is on the y-axis. So when the value goes up, for the price goes up, the quantity should also goes up. But what is really meaning from the basic model of supply and demand, or the business model for content-driven economy? None of this equations has a meaning for equilibrium, because you cannot provide more contents. It will become long tail, because you would find this economics model only work with some classical interpretations. So let's say, for example, if business really means spending, investing without returns of revenue or investments, then the best place to do business is not in the economic system. You see, only because content will continue to be quantity, and the price would continuously go down in quantity. So, for example, if artificial intelligence buying platform, meaning which is like conglomerate company that sells and buy and conduct online sales and buying. So online platform basically is the artificial intelligence buying platform. So now they efficiently put this into the market with hope that like people would go there to buy the large quantity in return for a supply in price. I would think that the model itself would not be reflected in the demand supply curve. So, because the quantity of supply and demand is actually just, it's not in an equilibrium. It becomes a bell curve or system or some kind of like long tail paradigm buying drift. So, in economics terms, we need to find equilibrium, which is when the supply crosses the demand. That's when that's the power to purchase. The purchasing power is actually where the graph curves and where it intersects. So this means, I mean, the truth is, like, how do you capitalize on a content-driven platform if you don't provide them with sellable products? But then again, this is in this economics theory of capitalism, capitalistic thinking, in capitalistic economics terms would be more competition would equally drive the cost to go up. Better competitors will create better products or more quantity of products because the competition will actually drives out all the other competitors with less supply and with less with less supply, you would never meet the equilibrium for demand because the buying purchasing power would not be a cost-effective agent. Then what are we looking at is that productivity. If competition is actually all about productivity, then this capitalistic online system would just be like gravitational pull, or based on the free law of gravity. Well, one of the gravity is gravitational pull. So when you ground, so the closer you hit the ground, the gravity should be stronger, more attractive, attracting more supplies. So you have to get to the bottom line, which is also the long tail, which is the niche of actually gaining a supply. But you also have to build up the quantity of products and making productions of content. I think, and then price fixing or fixing prices for supply and demand, which means the buying of the economics activity. So I guess the strategy is actually time, is how much and how important it is to have sectorial outputs. So by quarter, basically, each quarter needs to have enough output to supply the market before the competition takes form. You see.